Good evening and welcome to UNSW's Postgraduate Information Evening. It's great to have you all join us this evening. My name is Amy and I'm a Future Student Faculty Partner from UNSW Future Students Office. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of the land, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders who may be joining us today. Now, before we begin, if you have any questions throughout the evening, please ask away in our chat and one of our future student advisors will respond to you. At UNSW, our mission is clear: to advance progress for all. We do this through transformative education, innovative research, and meaningful engagement with people, communities, and partners. Now let's take a closer look at why students are choosing UNSW for their postgraduate study. UNSW is in the top 20 of all universities globally, and we are ranked 19th in the world, according to the QS World University Rankings for 2025. We've also educated more CEOs than any other university in Australia, and according to the Australian Financial Review, the past 6 years UNSW has produced Australia's most employable graduates. In this evening's session, we will help guide you on your path to postgraduate study at UNSW, including choosing a postgraduate degree, considerations about study load and when to start, how to apply, being a UNSW postgrad student, support, networking, resources, and we'll conclude with a panel discussion at the end. Now let's start with choosing your degree. There can be different entry points and durations for our postgraduate degrees. You can start with a graduate certificate or graduate diploma, which are shorter programs, generally under a year in duration. These are perfect if you want a shorter study duration rather than committing to an entire master's degree. And these courses will allow you to articulate into a master's degree later on, if you wish. Alternatively, you can choose to study one of our globally recognised master's degrees. Now, these are in most cases 2 years long, and this can be reduced through recognition of prior learning, which I will explain in a moment. Each degree has its own set of entry requirements. If you are ineligible, you can start with a graduate certificate or a graduate diploma and articulate into a master's degree afterwards. Now, at UNSW Sydney, you can choose to study a postgraduate qualification in one of 6 study areas: arts, design and architecture, business, engineering, law and justice, medicine and health, or science. Now, if you're keen to explore more of these study areas, our online degree finder is a great starting place. The Degree Finder is a great tool to use when looking for information on entry requirements and any additional criteria that may be required when applying to UNSW. Now, if you're not sure where to start, you can take our 2-minute quiz to learn which degree best suits your passions and interests. Here you can see an example of our Degree Finder page. You can search by your area of interest, gain an overview of the structure of a program, terms that you can start in, duration, delivery mode, fee overviews, entry requirements, details of the course, future careers, and how to apply. There's also information on fees and a section including information on Commonwealth supported places and available scholarships, if that is applicable to your program. And here is a sample webpage of the entry requirements, future student careers, and fees and scholarships. Now, returning to study as a postgraduate student is a big decision. For some, it may be many years since completing an undergraduate degree. So let's go through some of the key considerations often faced by our students. Some of the common questions we get asked around study loads and mode of learning can include: can I study part-time? Now, as a domestic student, you have flexibility over your studies and can choose to be part-time or full-time, or swap back and forth as you wish. If you do study full-time, you can take 8 courses over the year, 3 in term 1, 3 in term 2, and 2 in term 3, for example. Here is a timetable for 3 terms. So in each term, you have 10 weeks of teaching and 3 weeks of exam periods. You can also choose to study part-time with studying 3 to 5 courses per year. Now, if you study a graduate diploma in psychology, a graduate certificate in child development, or study with UNSW online, you will need to follow a hexamester timetable. So hexamesters are designed to deliver 1 course per term. Each hexamester has 6 weeks of teaching and 1 week of exams. Now, another consideration is, will my classes be online or in person? UNSW's postgraduate offerings include face-to-face, online, and hybrid degrees. You can find out more about the delivery mode of your program via the Degree Finder. But let's take a look at the Master of Commerce as an example. This program has a face-to-face blended delivery mode, so you may have an online lecture and a face-to-face tutorial, or vice versa. When are my classes scheduled is another common consideration, and can I study and work at the same time? Now, at UNSW, postgraduate programs are designed for those who are working, so classes are generally in the evening. However, we cannot guarantee that every course will be outside of business hours. Some programs also offer short course teaching modes, and that includes intensives and weekend classes. Now remember to continue to ask your questions in the chat below, and our future student advisors are ready and here to help. Now let's talk about how to apply. There are 2 ways of applying to a postgraduate degree at UNSW. For most programs, you can apply through the Apply Online portal, but some programs require an application through the University Admissions Centre, known as UAC. Applications for programs with the School of Population Health, the Juris Doctor, and the Master of Teaching, primary or secondary, are made through the University Admissions Centre. The closing date for the School of Population Health programs is the 30th of April for Term 2 and the 31st of May for Term 3. The closing date for the Juris Doctor is the 31st of May for Term 3. For all our other programs, you can submit your application direct to UNSW through UNSW Apply Online portal. The closing dates are the 8th of May for Term 2 and the 28th of August for Term 3. Applications submitted after these dates are still accepted, but they are subject to available places. And this is what you will see on the University Admissions website and the postgraduate portal at UNSW. Now remember, if you have any questions about applying or what postgraduate study is like, you can submit these through the chat. Now let's talk about the required documents and supporting documentation you may need in your application. Generally, entry requirements are based on academic achievement from your previous academic qualifications. There are some occasions where professional experience may be required or can support your application, but you'll always be made aware of these requirements either through the Apply Online portal or after you've applied, when our admissions team will instruct you. Recognition of prior learning. Now, this is something you can apply for if you have completed previous study or are looking at an articulation pathway or transferring from a different tertiary provider. There are 2 ways to do this. Through the UAC process, once you have accepted your offer, you can lodge an application for credit transfer. Or, if you are using UNSW's Apply Online, when you are submitting your application, just make sure that you tick the Advanced Standing box to indicate that you would like to be assessed for credit by our admissions office. As part of the UNSW recognition of prior learning policy, students may be offered credits for courses amounting to a maximum of 50% of their degree requirements. However, this will be assessed on a case-by-case basis. Credit can only be awarded for courses completed no more than 10 years prior. So what it looks like when you become a UNSW postgraduate student. Now, whether you're looking to launch your dream career, climb the corporate ladder, or switch industries, UNSW has a range of programs to help you expand your industry network and connect with our global alumni community. We also have more than 300 clubs and sports teams if you want to be social or active, and volunteering opportunities to gain experience and give back to the community. You can find out more about all these programs through the ARC website. The student support team are always here to help with personalised advice and information about university life, well-being, academic performance and study skills. UNSW procedures, financial management, or if you need help but don't know where to go, the team is here to support you. Now, our team of student support advisors provide personal support and work with all students to promote and the development of skills needed to navigate and succeed at university. For many, it may have been a while since you were at university, so I want to talk about the support we offer in helping you develop and hone your academic skills. Study Hacks are a series of workshops for new and returning students. These workshops help you familiarise yourself with everything the library and academic skills team have to offer and develop the key skills you need to succeed at UNSW. We also offer one-on-one support from the academic skills team to give advice on everything from referencing for academic writing, toolkits for avoiding plagiarism, and standards of using generative AI. Rest assured, at UNSW, we are here to support your postgraduate journey. Now let's talk a little bit about employability. We offer the Career Explorers program, which will help you to navigate UNSW employability and expert guidance to help you understand your motivations and professional interests, plan how to engage in employability programs during your degree, explore career pathways that will energise you, and design your UNSW experience. We also have Leadership Foundations programs designed to help you discover your leadership identity and develop practical skills, including self-awareness, collaboration and communication, building effective relationships, creating safe and inclusive teams, conflict management, well-being and resilience. Additionally, UNSW's Careers and Employment Office will link you with potential employers and help you to develop the skills you need for your career beyond the classroom. They offer job opportunities, application resources, career planning, and networking events to expand your future career path. The UNSW Careers and Employment Service is available for up to 18 months following your graduation. Our employability team offer a range of employability workshops online for you to explore endless opportunities and gain valuable insights for a successful future. So we also have a postgraduate council at UNSW. Now, the Postgraduate Council is here to provide information, support, representation and advice on issues that affect postgraduate students at UNSW and the wider postgraduate student population. They liaise with UNSW and external parties to represent and campaign for postgraduate students. They are dedicated to improving university life for all postgraduate students, including mature age students, students with partners and children, international students, research students, and coursework students. Now, we've covered a lot of information to help you kickstart your postgraduate journey with us. I'd like to now introduce you to our panel of current students to provide some great insights into their path at UNSW. We've covered a lot of information so far to help you kickstart your postgraduate journey with us. And now I'd like to introduce you to our panel. These are current postgraduate students here at UNSW who are going to give you some insights into what studying here is like. I'll start with you, Vivian.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the introduction. So I'm Vivian. I'm currently in my third year of a combined master's and PhD in psychology. So I think maybe I'll give a little insight to my progression then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I did I did my undergrad here as well. It was a double degree in science and arts. And in the science aspect, I did actually major in psychology. And then, part of that is it was an advanced science degree. So there was an honours kind of component built in. And I don't know how familiar people are with necessarily the path of psychology, but you do need to complete the honours to, for example, practice and all of those things. So I did end up completing my honours, and then I found research really, really interesting, and I wanted to keep my options open. So I decided to go for the combined program. I got in, and here I am.
The rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history, exactly.
Awesome. And now we'll go to our next panelist.
So my name is Tai, and I'm doing Master of Applied Linguistics at UNSW. So my undergraduate is Bachelor of Criminology and Criminal Justice. And I also like to give you a little bit more insight about why I decided to choose Master of Applied Linguistics. During my studies in undergrad, we did a research projects and presentation about misogyny, hate crimes, and the English component, the language components in that project. Even though it wasn't the main ideas, but I realized how important it is in everyday life and how it's constructed societal norms and influence the policy as well. So that's really sparked my interest in doing linguistics as a central, linguistics as a central area in the whole master. And also I work as a dental nurse at a specialist dental practice. And I also often have to translate between English and Vietnamese to English. And I can see how language barriers can impact people's opportunities and access to healthcare services. And I realized that it is so important to know about language and dive deeper into the importance of language in our everyday life. So that's why it makes me want to study more about language, and that's why I chose Master of Applied Linguistics at UNSW.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. And Otto?
All right, so I studied a Bachelor of Film Production at the Australian Television and Radio School before I came here. I worked in television for several years, and I was just wanting a change in my life, and I was kind of missing doing something academic, and I just really wanted to learn about everything, and I thought the Juris Doctor was a great way to, learn about the law, and I kind of had some friends that I knew who had done this and followed this path, and it was as soon as I started, I just had a lot of fun and really been enjoying it.
Amazing, thank you. So I've got a few questions that I want to put forward to the panel. You can jump in to answer one that you prefer. So I guess, what has your postgraduate experience been like so far at UNSW? Any takers? Otherwise, Otto, do you want to go first?
So having come from doing something that was quite non-academic, I hadn't really written a sentence or I guess an essay for so many years, since school basically. It wasn't a big focus in my film degree. And I was really nervous at first. I think before the first week, I was just like, what am I even doing? It was probably the most random choice to come and study a Juris Doctor, especially because, I knew it was going to be quite intense. And that part of it, I didn't know, I didn't know how I was going to cope with it, basically. And the first term I did find it was quite overwhelming, and it was it was a really big shock to the system. But I don't regret it at all. The content that you learn in this degree is it's really, really exciting. I find it really interesting. I found every subject so far has given me I've really enjoyed it. It's given me a lot of happiness. So that's what I've found so far. Did anyone else want to speak on that?
I also really enjoyed my Master of Applied Linguistics. I like to add a little bit more about the services and the academic body here. So whenever I seek for assistance in both undergraduate and graduate postgraduate programs, whenever I email my professors, they always come back to me with a very detailed answer. And I can feel that they genuinely want to help us, and also not only want us to advance in our academic goals, but also in our interpersonal goals. And that makes me really, really enjoy my master and also the bachelor degree here.
Awesome. You guys have almost covered my second question, which was how you're enjoying your postgraduate program so far. Did you have anything extra to add? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe then I'll just kind of speak to both questions then. I think the combined master's and PhD program is a little bit of an interesting kind of case, because you get a taste of a very different experience of postgrad, I think. If I speak to kind of the more master side of things, it's really, really interesting, I think, and it's a really fantastic experience because there is such a village around you. It's a really collegial kind of atmosphere. I don't know how it kind of works in terms of your postgrad experience, but you know, like we all have like a PhD desk on level 14 or 15 or whatever. You know, we have afternoon teas, we have colloquiums where we all kind of share, listen to research that's being shared with us, and also we do talks with each other as well. So I think it's such a, I don't know, it's such an inspiring environment, but also a really supportive environment at the same time. And it really is, I think, clear that you are in this almost like really nice, protected, insulated environment where everyone brings such incredible skills, incredible knowledge, but also there's an atmosphere of, you know, you have your village around you as well. So that's been really nice, especially kind of on the academia side of things. For the master's side of things, it's a little bit different because there's actually coursework involved and things like that. It's a lot more of a structured program, whereas, you know, with the research side, you're following your heart, you're doing kind of research dependent on your supervisor. So for this kind of master's aspect, I would say that it has been incredibly enjoyable, but part of that experience is definitely a huge and very steep learning curve, and a very kind of, it does place kind of demands on you, but in doing that as well, I think you see incredible growth. Yeah, so I would say that's kind of the two sides of my postgrad experience, but both have been amazing in different ways.
It's great to hear that you all have different experiences and journeys, and how that's all translating now that you're here. So I guess the next question I have for the panel is, how do you think studying at UNSW has helped you progress your skills and learning to create that network for your future career? Any takers for this question first?
I don't mind speaking.
Oh, no, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, coming to study law, I didn't have a great idea of how the progression was, or you know what sort of careers there are. But luckily at UNSW they run, you know, there's societies that hold lots of events where you can kind of get a good idea of the actual careers and the paths that you can go down. Also the teachers, I found them, they're very passionate. They're also, many of them were practicing lawyers or are still practicing lawyers. And so, yeah, they can give you really great insight. And also the people you meet all around you. So there's some really incredible people that I've met, and I'm sure kind of like I'm going to stay in contact with them for many years to come.
Amazing.
And I also want to add on Otto's point about the teachers and professors. I feel like a lot of time students feel struggling expanding or building connections or networks. Professors, there is your network already. So I recommend, if you feel so overwhelming and a bit have nowhere to go or don't really know how to expand your network, just reach out to the professors and reach out to your peers. Don't really scared or anything. Yeah, just reach out to them and they will help you. And they are the one who help you to progress, to learn more, and they will give you the advice based on your personal circumstances as well. So they'll not only help you to improve your academic careers, but also interpersonal goals.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I add a little bit to that, actually? Yeah, I think like the reflections here have been really nice, because I definitely agree that professors are your network as well. And, you know, UNSW offers some really fantastic, you know, academics and professors. And I think it's also a big component of this as well, though, is that there are a lot of structures in place to allow you to network or to kind of build your skills. And Otto was speaking to this a little bit as well with all the different events. I mean, just thinking, maybe this is a little bit too niche or practical, but I was just thinking about how, like, recently in a lab meeting, I was saying that I wanted to learn R, and it's been on my bucket list for a while. That's a statistical program, sorry. And only like a couple of days after, my lab member emailed me. She was like, oh, you know, like Stat Central UNSW is like running a bunch of like R workshops at the moment. So not only was that kind of that personal network, but then also then that linked me to the kind of systemic kind of resources available. And I also think back to how last year I went to my first 2 conferences, one in Boston and one at Melbourne, and that was mainly possible because I received funding from the school as well. And that was a huge opportunity to, you know, network with these incredible international minds and access kind of the skills and the knowledge, but the people as well there. So yeah, UNSW does have a lot of systems in place to support the learning of skills and the building of networks. Yeah.
Amazing. I guess following on from that, I want to just end the formal part of my questions, and then we're actually going to go to some questions coming in from our audience. Yeah. But do you have any advice for people thinking of studying postgrad at UNSW? Maybe if you could each say one thing that your advice would be.
I'm happy to
Yeah, do you want to jump in
share.
first?
Yeah, so I think be open-minded because UNSW community is a very diverse community, very stimulating. So I think that be open-minded with a willingness to learn. That's what I think it's one of the most important things for you. It is because people at UNSW comes from diverse background, diverse professions. So I think keep an open mind will help you go a really long way.
Amazing.
I would have to say, don't be nervous. Like, if there's an area that you're interested in and you kind of had your sights on it for a while and you've thought about it really deeply, don't let the nerves get in the way of applying. And because I just applied and I kind of, you know, let it sit. I got in and I just let it sit on my mind for a long time. And I was quite afraid, and I was at times thinking, oh, you know, is this the right thing? This is so random. But and I remember O Week, I was just like walking there and I just felt quite out of place. But then, yeah, just starting it, like just literally from the first class, I was like, this is the most mind-blowing experience and I can't believe I've missed out on this. I just wish I'd done it earlier. Like, yeah.
Nice.
I think, yeah, that's a really, really nice reflection, I think, because I think it speaks a little bit to my experience as well, which I think a lot of people, it is a really big decision to make. And, you know, there's some people kind of joke that people do postgrad because they don't know what to do next, or they, I can see the laughter there, so clearly speaking to some people. No, but also like, because, you know, sometimes people say that, you know, it's because they don't want to leave the uni system as well. And I think those answers are never wrong, and there isn't really a wrong answer for why to do postgrad. I think it's about knowing what your values are, knowing what the actual postgrad experience looks like, and if you're willing to live that kind of lifestyle, knowing that, you know, some of your friends will be off in grad roles or, you know, like going to pursue like very different types of careers. If this is actually the type of work that you want to be doing in the here and now, like don't worry about having a 5-year plan, 10-year plan or whatever. Like just follow your gut and your values and do the work, and then opportunities will come if you do that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so great. So we've got some questions coming in from our audience. The first one is around flexibility. And I guess, I don't know, I haven't asked this question yet, but is everyone studying full-time or part-time? Juggling full-time. Juggling full-time? Okay, so that's great. So I guess at UNSW we understand that postgraduate study is something that people often juggle, whether they're working full-time, have family commitments, there's a lot of external pressures. So could you talk to your experience? I might just pick one person because I don't know how much time we have, but just what it's like for you in terms of flexibility of your program.
I can speak to it with no one.
Yeah.
So I'd say, I mean, studying law, it's quite a tough sort of workload. But at the same time, UNSW's got some of the great features are the core subjects run classes at different times during the week, kind of allowing you to pick a time and a schedule that suits you best. Additionally, if you choose to work part-time or full-time, so I personally work part-time, but there's options of night classes which have come in like really handy during the degree so far. And then last point is that you can choose to study part-time, like a part-time load or a full-time load. And yeah, you can just control kind of the intensity of how you study.
Amazing. Did anyone else want to add anything? No, that's all good. So I guess the next question coming through is more around postgraduate study to help progress your career. And the question is, how will studying a postgraduate degree actually help my career? I mean, there's lots of different answers to that question. Do you have any insights in where you might see yourself and why you're on that chosen path? I know we heard before about you studying, working full-time at a dental...
I'm working as a casual.
Oh, casual,
Yeah, on a casual
And how
basis.
is that sort of where you might see yourself after you complete your master's?
After I complete my master, I'm thinking to do speech pathology.
Okay.
So back then, the dental job came first to me.
Yeah.
And then I was working in the environment, healthcare settings, and it feels like, I want to help people, because I see people comes to us often feel pain, vulnerable, and then they ask for help. So I really want to help them. Provide my services as well. And I started applying linguistics because I see the language barriers can impact people opportunities to access not only healthcare services, but a lot of opportunities in life as well. And after that, I feel, okay, I really love these healthcare settings, helping people in these settings. And I also love my applied linguistic master program, and I really want to practice both of them. So that's why I want to do speech pathology. So work in hospitals or private clinics, and also helping people continue my work, and also doing something that relate to my linguistic as well.
Awesome. And the final question I've got here that we've got time for, I think, tonight is how long an application will take to process. So I can probably quickly touch on that. So applications are submitted generally through Apply Online, although in the case of some programs like the Juris Doctor, it's through the University Admissions Centre. Once you put in all your necessary documentation, it can take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to assess your application. Depending on the term that you're applying for as well, and depending on your assessment of preferences, whether through UAC, sometimes it's for Commonwealth supported places or full fee places as well. But yeah, thank you. That's actually all we've got time for. If anybody is actually still sitting there with a burning question that we haven't covered, feel free to pop it in the chat, or you can always contact our future student advisors who are here on the phone, on the chat, on email, anytime to help you answer your future postgraduate study questions. But thank you so much to the panel, and thank you all for joining us this evening. We hope we see you at UNSW really soon.